Huh? Pardon? No, no, it doesn't make any. Oh, no, no, no. Inside. I want to not use it on it. Okay, so today is a peace day in Siam. Be around with other nationalities. Hmm? So these are our professors. And this is the president, and this is other people around. A peace day in Siam University. And this is Dr. Shaw, the Dean of Peace Studies and Diplomats. And this is the president and the ambassador. The students are here. Yeah, this is Dr. Manuel and we are here for Peace Day in Siam University. We're here to learn and understand the concept of peace. So, yeah, yeah, very good. Huh? It is on, right? No, don't worry because of the. Sorry. So, we're about to start now. So, this is the International Day of Peace in Siam University. And then we are here to celebrate it with other students. And these are our students from Germany. What is the name? These are our students from Germany. What is the name? Russia. Sales, okay. You're welcome. And this is Dr. Dominda and Dr. Surapon. And then Dr. Shaw and the ambassador and the president of Siam University. And this is Dr. Somaya and Saif. And we are here with many of our students, our German students, our Myanmar students, and Nepali students. Hello, peace be with you. Okay, so here we have We have an Asian student also, and classes of students from various countries. So about to start the event, and the event is all about International Day of Peace. Hello, International Day of Peace. And here is Michael. Greetings. And here is Goslit and Romadus, the intellectual. Very soon, Dr. Romadus. So we are here just to understand and then talk about peace. And this is Moses Owando, the Facebook guy.
Ja, det er rigtigt. Så skal jeg lige pludselig op og løbe midt om natten. Jeg ved ikke, jeg skal hjemme 3 dage inden, mens jeg gør om det bare sådan der. Jeg bare skal prøve at få en søvn, og så bare prøve at sove for lidt. Det var jeg. Så det var prøve lidt.
Really, they do. Why nobody? Are you sure it's on my Facebook page? So, Romanus, as a student of peace studies, do you have anything to say about peace? What have you to say about peace as a student of peace studies? I can only come out to look for it. So any comment before we start?
Okay, today is International Peace Day,
Yes.
established by UN. So it signifies that the world, the global world, have to share together for the commitment of peace in the world. What I have to say is that peace in the world, we see, look at the whole world, there is no peace. Even though when we keep on talking about peace, a place where there is no justice, where there is absolute violation of human rights, there will not be peace. There will be peace when there is equity, respect for human dignity and rights. That when peace will come. So when we are talking about peace, we need to consider all these things. If the world will embrace, fairness, equity, and justice, the world will be there will be peace in the world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sawadika and good afternoon, Honorable President Dr. Ponchai Mohanvanet, Her Excellency the Ambassador of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, His Excellency the Ambassador of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, the First Secretary of the Embassy at the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, esteemed faculty members, dear students and friends joining us from near and far. 16 years, 16 celebrations. Siam University stands unmatched in its continuous commitment to the International Day of Peace proving that the true leadership in peace begins with persistence and pride. I am Prenika Oli.
And I am Anshu Kumar Agrawal, both proud students of Siam University, currently in our fourth year, pursuing a Bachelor's of Business Administration with a major in Finance and Investment. We are truly privileged to serve as your Masters of Ceremony for this significant occasion. It is with the deepest of honor and gratitude that we welcome you all to the celebration of the United Nations International Day of Peace 2025, hosted here at Siam University in collaboration with the Masters of Arts in Peace Studies and Diplomacy program.
As we celebrate this day dedicated to peace, these words from the former Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, guides us. Each one has a part to play in building peace.
Today is just not another day on the calendar, but it is a day that reminds us that peace is not something we wait for, but it is indeed something that we can create. Each year, the United Nations invites the world to pause and reflect on peace, not as a distant dream, but as a shared responsibility. This year's UN theme, Act Now for a Peaceful World, carries a very powerful message. Peace begins with action, not tomorrow, not someday, but now, in our words, our choices, and in the way we live with one another.
And what better way to begin this meaningful journey today than in the presence of the honorable leaders, scholars, and students who have come together from diverse backgrounds with one common purpose to reaffirm our commitment to peace.
Now, before this program unfolds, let us take part in a small act together. Look at the person beside you and give us and share a smile. In that simple gesture lies the seed of peace, a reminder that harmony does not begin with policies or borders, but also with the human connection. With that shared spirit, let us now begin the program.
So now it is my honor to introduce Dr. Cholji Cho. He is the Assistant President for International Affairs for Siam University. Dr. Cho is a distinguished academic and global leader serving in key role as a Vice President in GCS International, and he is also the Director of the Masters of Art in Peace Studies and Diplomacy program. May I kindly request Dr. Cho to please come up on the stage and take the floor.
Good afternoon. It is very pleasant surprise. I was not informed about this appearance, but it seems that our president wants me to introduce our program. We have, as you may know, we have the Graduate School of Peace Studies and Diplomacy at the Siam University, the first institution that introduced peace studies in Thailand. And in very close collaboration with the Yonhee University, the biggest private university in Korea. The founder was a promoter of peace. Okay. Then he was the president of the International Association of University Presidents, and then our president succeeded to the presidency later on. And then we have the Peace Garden, the Garden of Peace, next to our building. So we have been promoting peace and international collaboration in very close collaboration with different institutions like the UN, UNESCO, and different embassies based in Bangkok. Then we have been celebrating the International Peace Day or the UN International Day of Peace for 16 years, right? Siam University is the only institution that celebrate UN Peace Day. And then the president and myself, we are the members of the GCS International. GCS stands for Global Common Society. Global Common Society means that we are a family. And this institution is a non-governmental organization affiliated to the United Nations Economic and Social Council, okay, one of the biggest NGO movement to promote international cooperation and peace. And then we have, as of now, we have more than 75 national chapters. And then on the 19th of this month, we have annual convention in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. And then the president and myself will participate on June meeting. And then this GCS International was initiated to introduce the UN International Day of Peace. Okay. When there was the annual meeting in Costa Rica, okay, the president of the universities advised the president of Costa Rica at that time to submit the motion to the UN General Assembly, and then it was adopted unanimously by the UN General Assembly. Since then, we have been celebrating the UN International Day of Peace, the 21st of September. Then, not only for one day, we are invited to respect peace and collaborate with our friends, our community, and our society and our different nations all together to promote peace. As we all know, we are living in an era of turbulence, social and economic and political unrest, military conflicts, wars everywhere, even in Europe. As for me, I lived, the half of my life in different European countries. But I wanted to go to visit my professor in France very soon, but I had to postpone, considering what's happening in France and other countries. But we still have chance. Okay, when we have risks and troubles, we can dream of a better day, right? And then today is a meaningful day for all of us. And then I'm very proud of telling you about the inauguration of the International Day of Peace. And then let's celebrate together. And then with all, I'm grateful for all of you to be part of this important and meaningful ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Joe, for your kind words. Now I would like to invite Dr. Duminda Jaya Ranjan, the Dean of International College, to please come up on stage and take the floor.
Again, it's a very surprise. Just I was informed. Anyway, yes, I should talk something meaningful to today. Her Excellency, the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, and the representative of Pakistan Embassy, and also Mr. President and our members, faculty members, and all the students. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm the Dean of International College. So first, let me give you the brief about the International College. We started International College in 1995. This is our 30th anniversary. So at the moment, we have students from approximately 50 plus countries. So now, how we can develop further, we are thinking how we can make the harmony the world. With the 52 countries, is different areas. We have a lot of conflicts, but in our college, we are trying to train all the people for the future, achieving the harmony and making the better. So this is the way that I am trying to live with this day of peace today, celebrating on the UN. UN Peace Day is a very important day for all of us. So I can see a lot of students from all the, many countries. I think more than 20, 30 countries, the nationalities are here representing. So this is the very important day for all of us, right? The international college, as we develop for you to assure the harmony, we are having a lot of activities for you. Why it is that? To assure the one name is to assure the harmony, to respect each other. So you work together, you learn together. So then we are trying to provide you the best opportunity, best learning environment, best practices in the university environment. That is your future. So in future, you will learn how we can work together. The peace day, as the mentioned about everywhere, we have a lot of conflicts happening. So we have to assure the peace. So this is the way I can do this message to all of you, how we can make a better world. No fighting, no conflicts, respect everybody. And as the Dean of the International College and with our faculties, our resource personnel, with the guidance of the visitors and all the ambassadors, and this is the way we can connect with this thing of the International Day of Peace. It says, act now for a peaceful world. How? What we can do is in this university to make sure how we can provide the facility to think wisely and act wisely and make a better world. Thank you. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tuminda Jairanjan, for your inspiring words. So now, may I kindly invite Shafir Rahman, the ambassador, the lecturer of Siam University, to please come up on the stage and take the floor.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, distinguished members of faculty, my colleagues, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, it is a wonderful way to say welcome to all of you on the day of World Peace. I, being a peacekeeper, I think it's my privilege to welcome all of you on this solemn day. So the ambassador is here. So I was telling that as a former peacekeeper, I take this privilege to welcome you all once again. I'm a faculty member. My name is Saif Rahman, as said by the MC. I also teach at the Graduate School of Peace Studies and Diplomacy. I have been with the military before coming here, and also have several tenure in the United Nations. But here, I take the floor as a privilege to introduce my ambassador. His Excellency is here, and I will just take a moment to introduce this very competent person, guest, who is here. So let me take the privilege to introduce Mr. Fayaz Mushid Khan, His Excellency. He's been appointed as the Ambassador of Bangladesh to the Kingdom of Thailand with concurrent accreditation accreditation to the Kingdom of Cambodia. And he will also serve as the permanent representative of Bangladesh to the UN Economic and Social Commission on Asia and the Pacific, popularly known as UNSCAP. Mr. Kazi is a career diplomat belonging to the 20th batch of Bangladesh Foreign Service. In last more than 3 years, he served in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as Director General in charge of United Nations and European Affairs and others. Previously, Mr. Kazi had served in the Bangladesh missions in Beijing, Geneva, New York, and Brussels. He also had a brief stint at the Deputy Permanent Representative at the Bangladesh Permanent Mission to the UN offices and other international organizations in Geneva, Switzerland. Over the years, he participated in many multilateral negotiations as part of the Bangladesh delegation. Prior to joining the Foreign Service, Mr. Kazi served as an Assistant Commissioner in Magistrate in Chattogram, the industrial capital of Bangladesh, as a member of the Bangladesh Administrative Service. He also had experience of working as an accounting executive at a local advertising and marketing agency. Mr. Kazi did his master's in English literature from Siam University and holds a diploma in international relations from the erstwhile L'École Nationale d'Administration, Paris, France. With this, I think he is one of the most competent guests to talk about Global Day of Peace.
Thank you, Mr. Seth, for your kind words.
Good afternoon, everyone. That was quite unexpected. I mean, I don't know where they found this photo of mine, and to hear my entire life being narrated here was quite embarrassing. It sounded like I have done a lot of things in life, but trust me, I have not. So don't take me very seriously. I don't take myself seriously at all, so please don't. Those were just things that we have to write to impress people, and I'm very embarrassed that I had to hear all that about things I did or didn't do in life, actually. But great to be here. I mean, when I was getting down the car, I saw the Garden of Peace. What a beautiful idea, actually, to have a Garden of Peace. And this is probably the right place to talk about the International Day of Peace, the UN-designated International Day of Peace. When I was coming here, my colleague and I, we were listening to a podcast. This famous Israeli historian and public intellectual, you probably know his name, Yuval Noah Harari, right? The person who wrote all these seminal books like *Sapiens* and others. So he was talking quite eloquently, but rather presenting a grim picture about the world, that how we are living through a new world order of disorder, actually. The old world order that people like us grew up in is kind of dismantling right before our eyes. And what he was saying, that when you do not have an alternative to an old order, you actually have chaos. And I was feeling a bit demoralized because I had to come before young people and to give them this message that we are kind of living in a world of disorder, a world of chaos, is certainly not something that we would like to share with bright young minds like yourselves. So that's why I definitely thank the Siam University and, of course, its president, who is a visionary man. The last time I had the opportunity to see him, I was very much impressed by his ideas, his thoughts, his mission, the way he wants to take forward this institution together with the students from all over the world, and the excellent faculty that he has gathered around him to make this institution a center of excellence. So here, let's talk about the International Day of Peace a little bit. Let's not lose hope. My first message would be that yes, these are chaotic times, these are disorderly times, these are difficult times. But over the years, we have built certain guardrails in the international system which can still help us, support us, and aid us in restoring order in this world. Chaos has never been the last word in human history or human civilization. We have always managed to overcome chaos and difficulties. And I'm pretty sure young people sitting before us, with the new emerging technologies, the new frontiers that are opening before us, we will be able to overcome any chaos and disorder that tend to overwhelm us a little bit. So going forwards, I have some slides. If you excuse me, I will try to quickly go through them. Let's talk about the day itself, the significance of the International Day of Peace. I'm sure you have already heard about it. So it's observed annually on 21st of September. And this is the time when in New York, at the UN headquarters, we have the gathering of all world leaders. So coming next week, or actually end of this week, all world leaders will be gathering at the UN, and they will be talking together about the International Day of Peace and how we still need to fight for a surge in peace diplomacy around the world. The idea of non-violence, this is very, very critical for our part of the world. This is actually our gift to the rest of the world. Even before people like Mahatma Gandhi made this idea famous, even before people like, what was the civil movement leader from the United States? Martin Luther King, thank you very much. Even before he embraced the idea, we have been propagating the idea of non-violence from this part of the world for centuries, for millennia actually. Look at all the religious, spiritual traditions that have emerged from this part of the world. It's all entrenched in the idea of renunciation of violence. The idea of non-violence has been very much core to our DNA in this part. So, since 1981, the UN General Assembly has been observing this day, which is, of course, a universal call for restoring international peace and security. Next. But if we go back to the UN Charter, the genesis of the UN itself, back in 1945, there we had these lines which should remain kind of the pole star for all of us. That the UN was created, the whole multilateral process was established to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war. Again, something Yuval Noah Harari was talking about. We were all shocked to hear last week that the US administration has decided to change the name of the Department of Defense into Department of War. These are dispiriting, demoralizing signals. But this was a nomenclature which was used in the US before the Second World War. And sadly, after almost 80 years, of almost 8 decades, that nomenclature is being brought back. The Department of Defense is being called Department of War. But rest assured that the world in general still believes in the UN system. We still believe in multilateralism. And our core objective is to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war. And that charter, despite many criticisms we have against the UN or its Security Council, the UN Charter still remains the blueprint for resolving any modern or contemporary conflicts that we see around us. Be that between Thailand and Cambodia, be that between Israel and Palestine, be that the civil war in Myanmar, be that the domestic upheaval that we see in Sudan, anywhere in the world, the UN Charter and the values and principles it enshrines still remains the North Star for resolving modern wars and conflicts. Next. So the key aspirations for the UN right at this point is to prevent conflicts. It's one thing to end conflicts. Our colleague was talking about peacekeeping. We will come to that later. When conflicts are there, of course, we deploy troops to maintain peace. But what is important now and what is we all need to work on is to prevent conflicts in the first place. Even before conflicts start, how to read the signs, how to read the early warnings for conflicts and try to intervene so that conflict does not erupt. And that's why diplomacy, the work we try to do or pretend to do, mediation and negotiations, these are absolutely critical. You often hear this, that let's not resort to conflicts, let's give dialogue and diplomacy a chance. This is something that is repeated again and again, because at the end of the day, any difference, any tension, any conflicts, any wars, you have to resolve them, you have to settle them at the dialogue table. You have to give peace diplomacy a chance. Next one. Talking about my own country, we were also born out of a bloody war in 1971. So our constitution, when we adopted in 1972, it also attached a lot of importance to peace and security, international peace and security. And that's why we have said that we would renounce any form of aggression. We will continue to oppose wars, colonialism, racial discrimination. We will stand for complete and general disarmament and non-proliferation. And we will do whatever it's in our power as a small country, whatever it is possible for us, we will try to contribute to international peace and security. And that is why you have heard that we have sent peacekeepers around the world. Next one. Bangladesh in UN peacekeeping, something that we had started back in 1988. Here we have colleagues from Pakistan, from Sri Lanka, from Thailand. All our countries have these legacies of contributing to UN peacekeeping operations. Thailand, for example, where we are sitting right now, has a very proud legacy of contributing peacekeeping troops to Timor-Leste. When Timor-Leste was in conflict, Thailand had a very, very critical and seminal role to play. And right now, countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, others, we have our troops, our police, our law enforcement people deployed in different parts of the world, from Haiti to Sudan, from Central African Republic to Mali. Sorry, Mali has stopped recently, but in different parts of the world, we do have these presences, and we are trying to make our contributions to UN peacekeeping. And it's not something that has just happened. We had to make some sacrifices as well. Many of our troops have died in the line of duty, and they continue to make these supreme sacrifices for the interest of international peace and security. Next one. Something related to peacekeeping as well. Remember, I was saying that it's one thing to maintain peace. That, okay, the warring parties, the conflicting parties, they have decided that they will try to establish peace. Then we send international peacekeepers to that country, and they make sure that, okay, the peace agreement is being complied with. But that is not good enough. As I was saying, that we have to prevent conflict, and also we have to make sure that a country that has gone into peace does not go back to conflicts. Because that has happened in many countries as well. That there has been peace established in that country, but again, after a few years, conflict has relapsed in that country. There has been a resurgence of conflict. So to sustain peace is a huge challenge. You have to build the right kind of systems and institutions in a country so that peace can hold. It is not easy to hold peace, to sustain peace in any setting. So that's why the UN has started working on something called peace building. And what I'm trying to tell you, that even if you cannot contribute to peacekeeping as a soldier or as a police personnel, there are many other ways that young people like yourselves, you can actually contribute to sustaining peace in any difficult or challenging theater. Next one. And that is why we are talking about these two resolutions from the UN Security Council. Again, we often hear that the UN Security Council has not been able to resolve a number of conflicts, but these are some interesting ideas that the Security Council could come up with. One was, back in 2000, women, peace and security. It has to be something that has to be recognized, that when we try to establish peace, when we try to have peace agreement, women must be there, very much part of the peace process. One of my female colleagues, I think I said it in another forum recently, she was telling me from New York that if you currently look at some of the negotiations that are taking place between the Russian Federation and Ukraine, how many women do you see at the table? Unfortunately, none. And that's the reason why we have to talk about this, that women are mostly seen as victims of conflicts and wars. But that mindset, that perception has to be changed. Women are not just victims, they can be active agents of peace. And that's why Bangladesh actually championed this particular. And now it has gained so much traction that countries like Thailand, Sri Lanka, or Bangladesh, we all have our national action plans on ensuring women, peace, and security. Similarly, good news for you guys, next one. Recently in which year was that? 2015. There has been a new resolution, fairly new resolution, on youth, peace and security. And this is where the Security Council actually acknowledges that young people like yourselves, you have a very, very critical role to play in promoting and establishing peace. You must be all hearing about all these Gen Z movements around the world, aren't you? What we have recently seen in Nepal, or what we have seen even in my country, Bangladesh, last year, the whole Gen Z movements, how actually young people like you are going into the streets and making their voices heard. And they're saying that we want change, substantive change actually in the system. The old system, the old order is not serving us anymore, and we need to see qualitative differences. And we have heard the voices of Gen Z, people like yourselves. And that's why, after the Arab Spring and all the changes that young people were bringing about around the world, these ideas came about, that we have to include young people into any peace processes. Next one. This is another idea that I have to talk about selfishly, because again, as a small country, Bangladesh, we are not small actually in terms of population. We have 170 million plus people, a small territory, huge number of people, but our geographic size is small. So for a small country like us, this is an important concept, that we want to promote a culture of peace in all young minds. And if you look at the UNESCO Charter, it says something very beautiful. It says that war is something that is first created in human minds. War actually starts, any hate, any discrimination, any violations, any abuse, any exploitation that you see around the world, it actually starts in the mind or probably in the brain. And that's where you have to make a difference. And that's why you have to promote or inculcate the idea of a culture of peace. We have to embrace the idea of peace and non-violence in our minds. We should not just listen to what we hear on YouTube videos or TikTok videos, all the hate speeches that we hear. We have to kind of look at things through the prism of peace and stability. Next one. A situation that we should not forget. We hear here in Thailand, but just our next door in Myanmar. Many of us, we often tend to forget that there is a civil war raging, and I know that there are students from Myanmar in this university as well. And I'm sure their parents, their relatives, their next of kin are going through that situation on a daily basis. Maybe sitting here in Bangkok, we often forget about these realities. We think that probably some conflicts are happening in the peripheries of Myanmar. But the whole country is actually going through kind of a civil war situation. And this is just next door. Thailand shares the longest border with Myanmar. So again, countries like us in the region, we do have a stake in lasting peace and stability in Myanmar. And I would actually encourage all of you to keep an eye on what's unfolding in Myanmar. Because what would happen in Myanmar would have huge impact on the situation in Thailand, on the overall developments within ASEAN, and in the Indo-Pacific region, as we call it. So let's not forget about these situations which are right next door. Many of us, we follow very keenly what's happening in Gaza, for example, what's happening in Ukraine. But let's not forget about the situations that are happening right next door. We cannot forget that. And especially the Rohingyas, for example, 1.3 million of them find themselves in camps in Bangladesh, but not just in Bangladesh, they are in India, they're in Pakistan, they're in Thailand as well. And they all want to go back to their country because they want to live with safety and dignity in their own country. And that is something we have to keep working on. And as students in Thailand, as people living in Thailand, we have a collective responsibility to the people, especially the young people of Myanmar, so that they can have a peaceful society in their own country. Next one. Very quickly, peace cannot be seen in isolation. The reason we wanted to talk about it, you all know about the Sustainable Development Goals. Again, when I was coming through the campus, I could see all the SDG posters here. So one of the SDGs, SDG 16, is actually about peace, justice, and strong institutions. Why is that? Because there is a realization that if you want to establish lasting peace, you have to also invest in sustainable development and human rights. All these three things are interrelated, interconnected. You cannot have peace without sustainable development or human rights. So this linkage is actually reflected in the idea of SDG 16, which promotes, among other things, as I said, the idea of solid institutions, rule of law, accountability, and access to justice, among many other things. So this is also something that we must keep in mind. Disarmament and non-proliferation. I know that there is a lot of coverage, for example, on the landmine issue between Thailand and Cambodia, right? This is again something that young people like yourselves, you must continue to champion. Not just weapons of mass destruction, like nuclear arms or chemical weapons or biological weapons, but also small arms. Arms that destroy human lives, anti-personnel mines, landmines. We do have the Ottawa Convention, which had prohibited the use of landmines. But unfortunately, these things keep happening. So again, when we talk about international peace, this is also something that we have to keep in mind. that we have to raise our voices in favor of complete and general disarmament. Again, not just weapons of mass destruction, but weapons of all kinds. Yes, we need weapons for self-defense, but arms and ammunition that unnecessarily destroy human lives, we must take a stand against those. Next one. And that's why international humanitarian law. Remember, I said that I wanted to talk about some of the guardrails that we have in place. Yes, it's a world of chaos, but let's not forget that we have all these instruments, all these tools in our hands. There are the Geneva Conventions and its protocol, and there are 4 protocols and a whole bunch of international laws which actually uphold international humanitarian law. And what do they mostly talk about? That how you should treat people, civilians, or combatants during war. Again, right now, I'm sure you see in the press that there is some conversation going on about Cambodian prisoners of war in Thailand. There are 18 Cambodian soldiers or combatants who are held in custody in Thailand. And in that context, this idea of the Geneva Conventions are coming up again and again. So what I'm trying to say, that don't think that these issues are distant from us. At any moment in time, this can actually become very much part of our own lives, our own realities, our own contexts. So that's why we need to also know about what international humanitarian law says. Like what is happening, the unspeakable crime that's happening in Gaza, for example. And just this morning, I was hearing that the UN has now established that there is genocide happening in Gaza. The G word, the word genocide, is not used very lightly in the UN context. The UN gets very, very selective and cautious when they apply this word. And only this morning, UN investigators, they have said that there is genocide happening. And there, we have said again and again, after the Cambodian genocide, after the Rwandan genocide, after the Yugoslav genocide, that never again. You heard about Nelson Mandela, that's what he said, that never again. Let's make sure that it never happens again. But unfortunately, even in the 21st century, we see genocide happening right before our eyes. And that's why the idea of international humanitarian law is something we have to keep in mind. We have to promote this law, the rule of law, so that there is no such genocides, crimes against humanity, or war crimes that keep happening in our world. Next one. I think I'm coming to an end. The last thing that I want to leave you with, that the UN is not just sitting idle. Yes, unfortunately, we are all part of the UN and we should all take the blames. You know what is the first few words of the UN Charter? Any idea? Exactly. Can you say it loudly? We the peoples. United Nations, right? We are all nations. We are united and we have created this body. And the first few words of that charter is we the peoples. So it's actually our body. We cannot just blame UN for not doing things. We all have to take responsibility for what the UN is being able to do and what the UN is not being able to do. Because it's we the peoples that have created the United Nations. So yes, the UN is perhaps not being able to do a number of things. And I'm coming to that one just now. But the UN Secretary General is calling for a new agenda for peace in the world. Again, just giving you the idea, Google it and see how you can engage yourself in this new agenda for peace that he is talking about. And lastly, I know because there will be some questions, so let's go to the next slide. Security Council, the UN body which is responsible for maintaining international peace and security. This is something, a body that needs reform long time ago. But unfortunately, in 80 years, we have not been able to make much difference, except some little changes. We have our Pakistani colleagues sitting here right now. They were just holding the presidency of the UN Security Council. So countries like us, we are trying, but again, it will be your generation that will have to work on making substantive reform of the Security Council, so that the Security Council that was created 80 years ago during your great-grandfather's time, that can actually speak for you, that can actually respond to the challenges that you now face in this 21st century. Security Council now must talk about climate change. Security Council now must talk about cybersecurity risks. Security Council now must talk about what young people are asking for. These are kind of changes that we must get reflected in the Security Council. And only then, and this is where I ended, I'm sorry I took a lot of time, almost like a classroom session, but this is why we have to keep talking about the International Day of Peace. If we do not engage in these kind of work, there is actually no point in talking about the International Day of Peace. So good luck with that, and thank you very much for listening to me for so long.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your inspiring words and for reminding us that there is a true essence of peace as we mark this important day. So now we have the great honor of inviting our president, Dr. Ponchai Mongkonvanit. He is the president of Siam University and appointed as the advisory committee member on social economy. He is also the executive director in the Asia Cooperation Dialogue University Network. He is also the upcoming president of the Sustainable University Network of Thailand and also awarded with the first Asia Pacific Social and Solidarity Economy Impact Leader Award in the category of Educational Innovation Leadership. So with a big round of applause, we would like to invite him to deliver the welcome message.
Your Excellency, this is Vijayanti Idira Singhe, Sri Lankan Ambassador to Thailand and permanent representative to UNESCO and conference accredited to Cambodia and Laos. His Excellency, Mr. Fayyaz Murshid Karzai, Ambassador of Bangladesh to Thailand, Her Excellency, Counselor and First Secretary of the Republic of Pakistan, esteemed representative of diplomatic community, respected professor, colleagues, and dear students. This is a profound honor to welcome you all to Siam University on the celebration of the International Day of Peace under the theme, Act Now for a Peaceful World. This year's theme is a reminder that peace cannot wait for tomorrow. It demands urgency, courage, and responsibility of all of us. We are deeply privileged today to host ambassadors from Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, and First Secretary from Embassy of Pakistan, and esteemed professor and students from more than 10 nations. Your presence here today shows the true spirit of unity and friendship across the nations. It reminds us that peace is built when we talk to each other with respect and when we work together. Siam University stands committed to this vision, and that is why today marks the 16th year of the International Day of Peace here at Siam University. For 16 years, we have brought together students, teachers, and guests from around the world to reflect on peace, unity, and cooperation. As an institution of higher learning, we see education as more than just knowledge. It is a powerful bridge to connect culture, create understanding, and prepare young people to shape a more compassionate world. Our role is not only prepare the graduates for career, but also prepare the responsible global citizens. This year's theme, Act Now for Peaceful World, also reminds us that peace is not only the work of God.
what unites us and what always stronger than what separates us. We may come from different countries, speak different languages, and believe in different things. But in our hearts, we all share the same dreams: to live safely, to love, and be loved. Imagine for a moment a world where instead of shouting, people listen, where instead of walls, people build bridges, where instead of mistrust, people choose dialogue. Such a world is possible, and it starts with us. So today, let us not only celebrate peace as an idea, let us live peace. Let us make a promise that every day we will try to be ambassador of peace. In the way we speak, in the way we listen, and the way we try to care of others. Peace in something we wait for. Peace in something we create together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yamskeek, for sharing your thoughts with us. Next on stage, we have the Student Ambassador of Sri Lanka, Ms. Danusika Perumal, to share her thoughts with us.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, the President of Siam University, respected lecturers, and friends who are gathered here. My name is Danu, and I am from Sri Lanka, and this is my third year in Siam University. And it is truly an honor to stand here today. As a young person, I often find myself questioning and wondering what peace really means and where it truly begins. They say peace begins at home. But what happens when people have no home? What happens when families are forced to leave behind everything they know? Their land, their memories, even their sense of safety. Can we still call that peaceful life?
It's not.
When we picture peace, we often imagine silence or the absence of war. But peace is not about what is missing, it is about what is present. Peace means security, belonging, and dignity. Without these, peaceful life is incomplete. Around us, the world is not as stable as we imagine. Some people are running, not because they want to, but because they must. Some children are growing up, not with bedtime stories, but with stories of survival. Some families don't talk about dreams for the future, but about how to make it through tomorrow. We may not always see it directly, but these realities remind us that peace is still fragile, still unfinished. It is not a permanent gift. It is something we must keep building and protecting. Peace does not begin in government halls or world stages. It begins in everyday choices we make. It begins in simple things: a place to belong, a community that cares, a safe space where people can laugh, rest, and grow. When these things are missing, peace is missing. When they exist, peace grows, not just in speeches or in a talk, but in everyday life. As young people, we often ask, what can we do? The answer is not always huge. Sometimes it's as small as listening, respecting the differences, helping a friend who feels alone, or creating space for a simple act of kindness. If peace can be broken by simple act of
Good afternoon, the President, Dr. Ponchai Munkaminit, Your Excellencies, the Ambassadors of Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan, honorable guests, distinguished faculty, fellow students, and friends. There is still a lot to be ashamed in the world today. Conflict is one of it. Today, we gather to celebrate the International Day of Peace, a day that calls us not just to dream or talk about peace, but to act for peace. Our theme this year is powerful: Act Now for a Peaceful World. And my chosen title challenges us even more directly. If not now, when? If not you, who? Peace is like oxygen. We only notice how much we need it when it's running out. Every news headline reminds us that conflicts, intolerance, and division are still very much alive in our world. Peace is the presence of justice, equality, and respect. Peace is that quiet assurance that our sisters can go to school safely, that our brothers can walk home without fear, that our parents can sleep without worrying about tomorrow. But here's the tricky part. Peace doesn't fall from the sky like rain. It is planted, watered, and cultivated by people, ordinary people like you and me. So let me ask you, if not now, when? When will we stop waiting for the perfect time to build bridges instead of walls? When will we stop scrolling past injustice as though it is someone else's problem? When will we stop saying someday and instead say today is the day? History has shown us that waiting too long often comes at a painful cost. Thinking of climate change, racial inequality, gender-based violence, problems that fester when silence and delay become the norm. Waiting has never solved anything. Action has. And if not you, who? Too often we think peace is the job of presidents, diplomats, or the United Nations. But peace begins much closer, in our classrooms, in our WhatsApp groups, in our neighborhoods, and in our daily conversations. Peace begins when you choose dialogue over gossip, kindness over cruelty, understanding over judgment. Let me share something personal. Every time I hear of violence in communities, whether in Nigeria, where I come from, Nepal, Sudan, or right here in Southeast Asia, I wonder, what if the young people in those places had been taught to see each other not as rivals, but as teammates? What if one person, just one person, had chosen compassion over revenge? A single act of courage, a single voice of reason can change the course of history. Think of Malala Yousafzai, who decided that silence was not an option. Think of Wangari Maathai, who planted trees, and in doing so, planted hope. Think of Martin Luther King Jr., who dared to dream when others dared to doubt. They weren't superheroes. They were humans who simply refused to wait and refused to pass the responsibility to someone else. Friends, peace is not a faraway concept. It is here. It is now. It is in our hands. The question is, what will you do with it? If not now, when will you decide to forgive instead of holding a grudge? If not now, when will you speak up for that classmate being bullied? If not now, when will you use your talents, your studies, your voice to solve the problems around you? And if not you, who will lead the change? Who will change stereotypes, build friendships across cultures, or stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves? Who will remind the world that peace is not negotiable? Like the air we breathe, it is essential. So as we mark this International Day of Peace, I urge you, don't wait for the world to be perfect before you start acting. Be the imperfect person who chooses to make a difference in an imperfect world. Because peace is not built tomorrow, peace is built today. And peace is not built by them. Peace is built by us. So let us leave this room with a simple but vital commitment to act now with courage, with compassion, and with conviction. For if not now, when? And if not you, who? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Obidike, for sharing with us